Okay, so I'm understanding and talking with some students and some adults that most of the people who are watching these videos are parents and teachers and adults. And the students, not so much, which I totally understand, totally relate. They are just in a different place right now, and that is okay. So I think that now most of my videos are going to be tailored towards adults, but the thing is, we're all human, and so we could all use different mindset not tricks, but just ways of reframing, ways of feeling, ways of just understanding ourselves on a deeper level. And that's really what I like to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about it's, and I know that some of you work for like a behavioral school, so this is going to be something that's going to be more of a review, but it's about positive to negative ratios and how that works in a relationship. So the Gottman Institute, this doctor, he was a couples therapist, and what he understood was that he could predict with very high accuracy the couples that would come to see him that would be successful and the ones that would end up splitting and separating. And what it came down to is he understood the positive to negative interactions that he would witness with these couples. And so that led into this idea of like, we can build relationships by focusing and commenting and bringing our attention to the positive, more of the positive than the negative. So in a school, what that looks like, and why I was saying like the behavioral teachers would know this, is because this helps shape behavior. And so the more that we focus on the positive, then the more positive that we'll see. And so there can be like, that can be a very surface thing, and it can be deep. If you're anyone who studies like law of attraction, and different kind of like metaphysical type stuff and energy psychology, then you can understand it on a really deep level. But either way, we're talking about the same thing. So when we talk about it, it's like from a general black and white perspective, a lot of times people are just trying to figure out where they are in the world. Like they're trying to find this orientation. And so when we tell them what not to do, then it's not telling them what they should do instead. So they just know like, okay, well, that's not it. But then there's all these other factors like attention, escape, that can come into play. It's a whole other topic. But when we can shape behavior and guide others to know like, well, that makes me feel good, and it's not just about like making us feel good. What's cohesive to the environment? What's cohesive to our relationship? And really, like, when especially we're like, I'm assuming a lot of us watching this, we might be at home with families, and we want that cohesion. It's easy to not have that. If you're a teacher, you want cohesion in your classroom. You want that we're a team, right? And so that also just builds that capacity. So when we think about so it's 5-1, so 5 positive comments or interactions to every negative. And that's not what our brains are usually designed for. Remember, negativity bias, we tend to see the negative, and it's almost like we just assume like somebody shouldn't have to be rewarded for doing something they should do anyway, right? But we have to kind of shift our mindset around that. So let's say that you right now are in a challenging relationship, or have gotten into like a struggle with a student, a child, a partner, a friend, and you're in a funk of some sort. If you can change that to 5-1 at minimum, you can go up to 10 positives. And sometimes you have to get creative about like, we have to train our brain to see the positives and then watch things shift for you and that person's shift. So if it's like taking kids taking their shoes off by the front door, you praise them for that. And then that reinforces it, that sets that boundary that tells them like, okay, that feels good to be praised, right? It feels good to have a positive interaction. And so they're going to want that more. Everybody loves, like, not loves, but we like to feel recognized. We like to feel honored. And so kids are no different. Spouses, partners, humans, we all like that. So it's a good gauge. So the more that we can do that and give that gift to people, it can be really, really transformative. And so that will be the challenge. Can you do 5 positives to every negative? Every correction that you make, find 5 positive things to say and watch how things shift.